Lately, I found myself longing for writing when playing a game for many weeks on end and only making sporadic notes. I don't know how long it will take me to play through it, so I decided to write about something that I think about more and more in recent years. It came from a place of unfortunate reality of that I am getting older and older, like every one of us is. I vividly remember being in my early 20s, working a job for around 300 hours a month, having fionce, playing video games, going to school every other weekend. Bloody hell, now it seems like my day back then had more than 24 hours. I am not naive, I still remember how little sleep I had in most active times, but a young body and mind could handle it all. Maybe that is why I feel so old today, when I'm only 38 in a matter of fact. Maybe humans, like cars and pretty much everything else, do have limited work hours in their lifetime. Maybe I am close to my limit, who the hell knows. What am I even rambling about? And what about the title of this video? Ah yes, let me explain. It doesn't really matter what my situation is right now, but I live a pretty normal life. I have full-time job, I attend to my apartment, do house chores, got my hobbies like writing, playing video games, making videos. I work out in the gym as my nickname would suggest, but I have this ever-present feeling of just tiredness. I guess I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel anymore. And like in my favorite Metallica song, when it comes to be that the sudden light at the end of the tunnel was a just freight train coming your way. All of that is beside the point. It all comes down to the fact that we, as a species, invented so many ways to make our lives easier and more fun that in the process we screwed ourselves. What do I mean by that? Well, it means that for every single invention that's widely accepted by global societies, there's need to be people who will make the ecosystem for that product to exist. That means there will be workforce dedicated to specializing in producing, marketing and selling it, and that take resources. And what are resources? Work, human labor. Every final product is the line of that labor step by step, starting with extracting resources from the earth, no matter if it's minerals, crops or what have you. Then there are multiple phases of processing materials, refining and assembling. Think about it like that. The more we have to enslave ourselves in order to have it, secure it and maintain it. Don't get me wrong, we are both beneficiaries and victims of this very system we created for ourselves. So what's the alternative? What are you even trying to say? Should we just go backwards? You might ask, and those are very good questions. I understand that in the past we were screwed in different, more horrific ways, and that all I'm saying here are just first world problems. In the past we were fighting for survival, and many of us didn't make it. They were killed or they starved to death. Hell, even today there are still places like that on Earth, where you need to be very skillful and lucky in order to survive. But let's put that aside and focus on our quote-unquote light version of hell. I've worked many different jobs in my life. I wanted to try as much as I possibly could before I chose my path of being socially valuable and productive. And you know what? I could not find the one which would be to my liking, to my calling or whatever the feeling of fulfillment could be named as. Things that I like, enjoy and I'm good at. I am not good enough to be successful in the sense that I would do those things and sustain myself, not even mentioning raising a family. So what do? I do jobs that I somewhat enjoy, but in which the balance of benefit to society and corporate grifting is lopsided, and not on the side of average citizen. I am sick and tired by the fact that I am punished every time I am acting to the benefit of the people who I serve, by the structures in which I serve. No good deed goes unpunished, as the saying goes. I made my choice long ago. I would rather protect my honesty, goodwill and integrity, and suffer the consequences. This is my ever-increasing cost of modern life, which I pay, even if that makes me somewhat miserable. I don't know how much longer I can go on like this. I thought about writing in this one about the tendencies to lean towards corruption by big enough structures, and about how hard it is to be good at doing something, but this time around I will just keep it short. In the comments down below, tell me about your ever-increasing cost of modern life, about the struggles you deal with. I will read it, and maybe there will be something that I would like to talk about in another episode of Let's Talk About It. But coming back to the more materialistic look on the topic, what's the alternative? It's very simple and very hard at the same time. Just live a simpler life. Do not buy the stuff that you don't really need. Be frugal, but not obsessive. I don't mean for any of us to hold on to the purchase of electrical fan when we are baking inside our houses in the summertime. Let me explain on my own example. When I was younger, I liked to upgrade my PC as often as I could. Now I see it was a waste, and every single time I upgrade nowadays, I need to make a bigger jump in performance to justify it. It is simple yet effective. I try to apply that rule to every other facet of my consumer life. When I am excited by some product or service, I stop myself from jumping into the fray of new and shiny. I think about it, and when I am calm, I make my decision. I test things out first before I buy them whenever I get a chance. I am not perfect in that regard by any means. I know that the best I could do is to move to the cabin in the woods and live off my savings on minimalistic lifestyle, but is it really the best? Would that be really better to only work for your own survival and not to the benefit of others? These are all very hard questions. On the other hand, the buyer's remorse and not using the things we spent our hard-earned money on are the killers of joy in life, and when it comes to joy, I try to get it from the simplest and smallest things in life. Good cup of white coffee that I savor, the sun ray or a shadow that catches my eye and looks better than in any video game, the smile on the face of a person I was kind to. Things like that are what keep me going in this life of pain and suffering. Some of you might think that we are on the brink of solving our problems with sustaining modern life. Many think hopefully about automation, artificial intelligence, and even universal basic income. I am not so eager to wishfully think about those things, as history shows that with new and rising technologies, we as humans invent newer and newer ways to enslave ourselves and our fellow earthlings. I do not think it will ever stop, so when robots take some jobs, there will be new ones for us, the meatbags, not even mentioning the fact that if it will be more cost-effective to use human instead of robot, it will be done no matter what. Maybe some will say that I am so-called dark seer, and they're gonna be right about that, because I see how dark was our past, and I do not think that future will be any brighter in this brave new world. At the end of this one, I'm just gonna say it. I have no golden solution, no easy fixes for any of our struggles. Do what you can to make the best life for yourself and others. That's it. I wish you all the best, and I will see you next time in another crazy YouTube man talking nonsense, or whatever we may call this. Peace in the Middle East or something.